We'll begin on the Daily Independent newspapers this morning, and right above the mast. Kwankwaso joining APC will bring crisis to the party, says the minister. Find out who's saying that. Our broad-based alliance rattling presidency, says Atiku Abubakar. National Assembly to raise committee to restore democratic order in Rivers. And still on the Daily Independent, lawyers storm National Assembly, demands takeover of Benue and Zamfara assemblies. But the rider Benue Assembly rejects summons by National Assembly. Serve Nnamdi Kanu with trial documents, judge orders federal government lawyers. Federal government unveils 10-year plan to address power sector manpower shortage. We get over 1,800 loan applications from students daily, says Nel Fund. Vatican faces defining moment as cardinals prepare to choose new pope. Governor Sule dispels fears of Nigeria drifting to one-party state. All the details you can find on the Daily Independent. And now over to the first news. On the first news this morning, Nnamdi Kanu admitted inciting violence, running pirate radio. DSS witness tells court. Senate forms oversight committee to address Rivers concerns. South quake. Delta Assembly 6 reps. Edo Speaker dumb PDP for APC. South quake. Delta Assembly 6 reps. Edo Speaker dumb PDP for APC. Seems that's where the carrot is these days. APC. Very dark man will be released after fulfilling all bail conditions, says EFCC. Police arrest officer for assaulting man in viral video. UTME mass failure proves cheating era is over, says Education Minister. UTME mass failure proves cheating era is over. Education Minister speaks. I don't need validation from political opportunists. Atiku slams Bwala. UN applauds FCT's bold strategy against sexual violence. Lagos arrests 74 during cleanup operations. You can find that on the first news this morning. And now over to the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch, rising insecurity. National Assembly ex-generals demand urgent military rearmament. With the rider, Senate moves to tackle killings as retired military chiefs, reps laments insurgents' use of sophisticated arms. Japa. UK considers tighter visa rules for Nigerians and Pakistanis. Federal government kicks as Patutomi forms shadow government. Senate may pass tax bills today. Panel to oversee IBAS. And now we're moving to the Nigerian Tribune. Just above the masts, CSOs seek explanation on 6 billion naira police uniform contract, files FOI requests, with the rider to petition ICPC over alleged 234 billion naira police funds. 2 million children malnourished in Nigeria, second highest worldwide, says UNICEF. 10 years after, family others to celebrate Oni Sijuade. Still in the Nigerian Tribune, Senate proposes National Summit on Insecurity with the rider. Moore's law on hunting to NEEP repeat of Uromi 16 sets up 19-man committee to oversee emergency rule in Rivers. Reps to parley Senates to restore democratic order, says Speaker. Tinubu meets Oboweri or other APC governors amidst defections, realignments. Will not honor reps' invitation, Benue Assembly speaks. DSS removes Larry Arogundade's name from its watch list. More CEOs worried about inflation skills gaps, PwC reports. 6 Delta PDP reps join APC. Nigeria first policy long-awaited relief to manufacturers, says MAN. 2 Enugu LP reps move to PDP. Delta Assembly Speaker, 21 others defect to APC. Edo Assembly Speaker, others dump PDP for APC. And now to the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian this morning, how insecurity middlemen drive up rice prices, force meal to shut down. UN worries over dwindling donor funding as 4.6 million face severe hunger in the northeast. Boko Haram, now deadlier, uses weaponized drones, say Borno reps. FMCG firms ride on Naira stability, grow profits by 100%. Lawyers storm National Assembly, demand takeover of Benue and Zamfara assemblies. Why poverty is worsening in Nigeria by Peter Obi. Over 75% of Lagos food supply from other states, says LASG. Senate grieves over Uromi Gombe killings, set for security summit amid concerns. Defections. Delta federal state lawmakers switch allegiance to APC as Tinubu meets Oboweri. Senate constitutes committee to oversee Rivers Sole administrator. And now to the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Daily Trust this morning, insecurity. Nigeria is bleeding, says Akpabio. 1 million children at risk of malnutrition in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. Uromi killings 40 days after families demand justice for slain hunters. And still on the Daily Trust, how import waivers are crippling local rice mills. 6 killed in fresh plateau attack. Leadership tussle. 11 weeks after Osun local government remains shut. Benue lawmakers reject National Assembly summons, threaten legal action. Kano government directs local government to release 670 million naira for Emir Sanusi's car. And now we're moving over to the This Day newspaper. On this day this morning, NUPRC pledges support as ExxonMobil commits to $1.5 billion deepwater investment. Man Neka Ndume hail federal government's Nigeria First policy, with a rider predicts it will boost GDP by 56%, reduce unemployment by 37%. Atiku to Tinubu, trade your Escalade for innocent to prove policy. Trade your Escalade for innocent to prove policy. Good point if you ask me. With $75, budget's benchmark concerns mount as oil price hovers around $60. All right, with $75 budget benchmark concerns mount as oil price hovers around $60. All right, that's it on this day. Okay, just take this one. NLC predicts more hardship for Nigerians. And on the final note, the Daily Times newspaper. Daily Times, EFCC traces $300,000 laundered money to arrested Yahoo boy suspect. Delta Speaker, 21 other PDP members defects to APC. Faster implementation of SABS will lead to faster transformation of Nigerian economy. Professor Banji Oyeyonka, SSA, to the President's on Industrialization, AFDB. Nigeria, Brazil forge new aviation links, target direct flights, aircraft leasing. All the details on the Daily Times. And that's it on the front pages of our dailies this morning. Our reviewer is already seated, and it's about time for the review. Chris MADUKA joins us. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Charles. And good morning, people who are watching from any part of the world. I'm sure it's afternoon, midnight, or anything in your location. But all the same, as far as good is inside, please accept it. Well, Charles, how good it is here?
Not too good, really. We're not seeing so much good. I'm just trying to see if I could pick one story that looks good, so we can start with that.
Nigeria First policy, everybody is hailing that, except that Atiku said the president should sell the Escalade and go to Newi to pick one of the good cars made by Innocent.
It's a good point, really.
Good point. I do not want throwing tantrums from one person to another to you, because there's a way you look at it deeply you find as if you are saying, innocent car is far much, less in value to escalate. And as far as we are concerned, the chicken of a poor man is his or her elephant. So, as far as we're concerned, at the level they operate, all those ones, we are not saying if president is using escalate, that Nigerians should not embrace Nigeria first and then see what we make out of it. If we come into our country, it's only the first family that use the most expensive cars, while the rest of 239 million Nigerians are using locally made, we will still arrive at good and positive point. So we must not all compare.
No, I mean,
let's be very frank.
I mean, this thing starts from the top.
I understand what you're saying. If you have purchased the Escalade, purchased the yacht, purchased the whatever presidential, rebuild vice president's house with billions, maintain everywhere, rebuild Dodam barracks when there's nothing to do, I don't know who stays there. All those ones, this money has been wasted, you can't record them back. What we are saying that today, there's a certain things you will start asking for. It means we do not want to see the good in that policy. It's like, why are you telling us this? Why you are here? When we know that if all collectively want to embrace that policy, it will yield us results. Let the president and let him alone be the odd man out. Along the line, he will find a way of.
Why would he be the one to be the odd man? I mean, the problem has always been, our leaders creating laws that they themselves will not live by. If you cannot live by those rules, don't bring it. I mean, it's not like the government is yours. You are there for some time. So don't don't do things and then don't implement it. And then
this has happened over time, not just in Nigeria, in Africa. Now, the choice you have as people they've tagged developing countries, you have a choice of following your leaders who do not want to preach what they implement what they preach, and your country go into oblivion, or taking some of things they preach, implementing it for you to survive. We have a choice. Let everybody go and buy Escalade so that the Nigeria force policy will fail, so that we put it to President Bola Tinubu that you are not implementing what you are preaching. Let put it to his ways. Let all of us go and buy it. You see what I'm saying? When
you exonerate the president, then you are also going to exonerate the state governor. State governor say, okay, just the odd ones out. Let's just do that the governors can be excused from not buying Innocent or buying Nord. Let's go to the Senate president. Senate president can
get to a position of governor, presidency, and some elevated position in Nigeria. Enjoy a certain level of. What you are saying is that excessive and massive approach to some of these things is what is causing us trouble. Why even if we have one Escalade and probably 2 escort cars to see that to make sure that at least the car is protected with the man inside? Why should we have 290 cars in a convoy of a Nigerian president? That's why we are talking about. We leave the substance and pursue the shadow. It's not about what we are talking about. Let's look at it. Let's start talking about cutting down. In some governor's convoy, we have more than 50 cars going to where? That's what we are saying. So because the president has bought Escalade, let all the governors buy Escalade. Let all the local government chairmen buy Escalade. Let all the National Assembly buy, so that we will be at prayer. Let them leave. If you calculate their number, 109 senators, how many ministers? When you remove their percentage in Nigerian population is, if they have one Escalade each, we will still follow Nigeria policy. That's what I'm saying. I do not want to look at anybody when any good policy jumper that will help us. We are the wretched of the earth. We are down there. Onyoka Koka. Let them translate it for them. Onyoka Koka. And Daniwa Koka Oka. We are the wretched of the earth. We suffer more. You can imagine in the dream where we managed to buy a Tokumbo car that is worth more than probably 10 million. Not to talk about cars that are worth billions. After all, they kept quiet. All the members of the National Assembly are moving in 670 million worth of car. One person. So when you are talking about, but before they did that policy, they know Innocent exists. And Innocent has beautiful, beautiful cars that can make up for this. So it's the willingness. I can see where you're going. If we have nice policy and the people still do not want to follow it, we as people who are suffering will not join them. This is not the idea of eat shit because they're not more in population. It's we that you should join. It's not even us joining them. It's not. If 90 million flies are in the toilet eating what they eat, we are the 90 million. We are more in population because when you remove the population of people who are holding us down, they are minute. So we can as well neglect them. When time comes, they will see the uselessness of their attitude.
How do we look up to our leaders who says do this? And then
look up to your leader in Nigeria.
So we shouldn't look up to it.
No, I don't know how you are looking up to them. For what? To behave like them, dress like them, move in the convoy and the comfort they move. Look up to them. Eat what they eat in the morning. When some Nigerians are eating from the dustbin, look up to them. Looking up to them cannot help us. It's us acting up to them. That's what we say.
How many Nigerians would even accept this line of thought?
Well, then we remain where we are. So why are we wasting time? If Nigerians are so comfortable in their position, why should we be the people telling them you are not comfortable? Whatever is holding them down is more. So what I'm saying for a policy of Nigeria first, with no matter what level of compliance Nigerians, the more we follow it and implement it, we yield. It will very much for us. So let's leave. Let's not leave. When a wine tapper is up, whatever how he manages to get down the wine, if he tells you, you won't drink. So let's forget that and drink up the palm wine. One day, the day of reckoning will come. We keep talking. All of them are massive. Some of them are mass wealth and living in affluence. And what they are doing, they can't go to the village. They can't live in Nigeria. They just have a session in Abuja, fly to London or France, come back. This is how they want to live. Is that life? It's not life because the way you make your mouth, you lie on it. When you have more poverty-stricken, abject poverty people living around you, you being a billionaire, you are unsafe. That's the only thing they should know. So, have you seen the rest run of the low cost? You cause trouble for yourself. You are looking, and that's why it's more. In order to think they want to overcome this, that's why they get into more money to cover up, to buy security. You see how many number of policemen that follow Speaker of the Senate, the President of Nigeria Senate. Then when you see that of President and the governors, this is what the leg Nama go take reach Umuaya. So we are the ones who will protect you. So I think you are saying is that it will be good. And we can always say, in the spirit of all things pure and holy, it will be good when you preach, you also act. Because from all school of thought that I have related to administration and governance, that is the best, leading from the front. Preaching what you, living what you preach, instead of my attitude, which is confusion. But we still refuse to, because there's no how we can follow them. We can't. We can't.
Benue Assembly is saying that they're not going to honor the rep's invitation.
I do not support their name not honoring. They will go back because the Benue Assembly were not among the people killed. In the comfort of their house of assembly, they were there and people were killed. And if they think they should leave Benue alone for them, then let nobody from there cry again about cleaning Benue. You have a bigger federal house who said, come. You say you will not come. So you want the Federal House of Assembly to go to Benue to sit with you to discuss your problem. And at the end of it, you turn around and say, nothing is happening. The opportunity they have to actually tell them if they have failed Benue, that's the opportunity. And they will say they won't. Is it a go? Because he has not touched them. If you carry the corpse of another man, it looks like you are carrying a log of wood. If one person in the House of Assembly were among the people killed, they won't waste time to go. Ask the families of members of the people they killed, their family, to come to Federal House of Assembly. They will all rush there. But these ones are whole and dry in Makodi. Some of them are whole and dry in Jos. So if they don't want to come, it won't concern them. You see the mentality of Nigerians. That's what we have cried here. I do not see what constitutional egocentrism, if you permit to me to say, stupidity that will not make them go. That is the opportunity they have. If they're going to ask these people to the face to begin to change some constitutional amendment to make sure that they, even them at the state have assembly. All they want, have you heard of any state house of assembly with any single power? They are one of the most beautiful rubber stamps ever used. Have you ever had anything? Have you ever had that even common local government elections, some of them will have one dissenting voice? Have you ever had? What are they actually doing? Why have they not said anything? Only the governor have been saying anything. If they think they are the second, they are another arm of government, and these killings are going on in their state, only to them to become called to come and discuss, they say they cannot come. Well, this is the time they want to show the independency, autonomy of states. I tell you, it doesn't join anywhere for me. It doesn't make sense. But let it be on record. Whether the Federal House of Assembly, reps, and all the National Assembly meant whatever they're saying or not, it's on record they were invited, and they are saying they go to court, they will not go. You see the stupidity? They want to go to court. They've threatened. So whether you go or you don't go, once this kind of disagreement comes in, the people who are perpetuating this crime will notice that there is no unity, cohesion. They will come back. And like I mentioned once, those people who are vulnerable and living at the extremes and the villages are the ones they will attack and kill. And these ones will be talking about going to court, threatening, I won't go to Abuja today.
But I don't know if you've heard of these types of summoning before. Have you ever heard it since 1999?
Have you heard the kind of killings in Benue and Plateau?
No, we're talking
no. Let's talk about Nigeria is taking new turn and we want to remain in the past. If things that have not been happening begin to happen, we will begin to behave unusually. If you do anyhow, you see anyhow. That is Nigeria for you. What is happening in Nigeria, here in Nigeria now, has happened before?
The summoning?
No. Has any of the things happening in Nigeria happened before? You only mentioned summoning. No, has a level of killing in Nigeria happened before? And you expect, you call it, they say invite you to talk, you say someone. Even if you are summoned, you go and face to face and tell the person who summoned you, you do not summon me like this. Yes. Somebody summon you, and you notice that if you don't go, he will use it against you. You go to his house. I let you summon me. Why do you summon me? Let's talk about it. And it will be discussed. But to stay in your house, and you know you have a problem. Do you use pepper to cure madness? I will ask again. If you cannot, then let the lesser evil give way for the higher one. Otherwise, we'll be here at a go, this, you do this, do this. The killing will continue to happen. And let God. Most of them are House of Assembly members. From their constituencies, people were killed. And are they among the people who said they won't go? Let them go to their village and tell their people why they won't go to Abuja. They say constitution, that they summon us, and see whether those people will not lynch them. Opportunity they have to go near the federal government and shout. What stopped them from going to Abuja and carry placard at the House of National Assembly? I mean, so these are people I don't understand. So Charles, I don't know. I might always have a different view, but I have opportunity of going to show you that I am not happy. I will stay in my house, sulking and to myself. At the end, what happened? The same thing happening to me will come back. Is that the time the governor? Because the House of Assembly people were only called. What of the governor who have been shouting? And if they ask governor now to come and make that shouting in the National Assembly, he will say he was summoned. Is that what you're saying? Charles, I think you don't use mallet to kill fly. You give in to bigger evil when it comes there. Insecurity, Nigeria is bleeding, coming from Akpabio. And that's good from the Senate President. I hope it's him that is saying this.
It's him, actually.
No, okay, fine. I'm saying I hope, because since he became the Senate President, I've not had any statement like this coming from him. Everything that he has said has some level of controversy around it. Is it that Nigerians misunderstand him? Or for him now, I think he's coming up to say insecurity in Nigeria. So our dear Senate President, Osita Tademma Odebabo, go ahead, keep making statements like this. Well, because
proposing a national summit on insecurity.
And then he said proposing, Charles. I was just looking for that, because there are so many newspapers now. I'm just looking for where that. Why should? But it came up in more than 2 or 3 newspapers. Why should the National Assembly still propose at this level, or that they have proposed and they executed last year? When will they actually begin to? And so many committees that are forming. They have an oversight function committee for River State to restore order. You went, created disorder. The president came. You guys say, yeah, the year have it, and supported the emergency rule in River State. You sat back in Abuja and said you are forming committee or whatever you are arranging to have oversight function to supervise the emergency rule you supported the president to.
Chris,
we don't know what hit us, Charles. But God bless Nigeria. The way we make our math, we rely on it. Good morning, Charles.
Many thanks, Chris, as always, for your interesting overview of the headlines on the newspapers. There's really no time to discuss more of this. But again, we thank you once again.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.